Amar,
Yep.
what are we doing here, my friend?
So this is the start of a new series for Pulsivate Local. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start spotlighting the local issues around this area. And we're going to start off with a place that people in Dewsbury Moor, in Dewsbury West, the ward Dewsbury West, and to be honest, Dewsbury and Bali in general will be familiar with. Cronus Park.
What exactly is our aim here?
So what I want to do is I want to be putting more pressure on Kirklees Council and the elected officials that were put into office this time last year. And I want them to realise that there's just under a year to go now until their seats are all opening up, and I want to start putting pressure on the officials and on the council to start securing sufficient funding for this area. We already know 250,000 has gone into that playground over there, but Cronus Park still isn't looking the best it could look.
So what we want to do here is get this to a place where everybody's going to enjoy it again.
Yeah, precisely.
Because that's what it used to be.
Yep.
We used to love coming here as kids.
Yep.
And it's just lost all of its colour.
Yeah, and a few years ago, and what I was hoping today actually was that it was going to be a bit more of a better day, but it hasn't been. You can see that a lot of people enjoy coming here. A lot of people want to come here, but look, it's a pit. This place is not being looked after well enough at all.
What issues do we have here?
So, firstly, one of the main issues around here is antisocial behaviour. Just a few weeks ago, in the tennis courts over there, there was arson committed, and the nets have been burnt off. I feel that there needs to be more lighting over here. There's absolutely no lighting. In all other major parks, there's proper street lighting. Over here, we don't see enough of that. We need CCTV cameras around here as well. So people that have criminals and people that have an urge to commit arson and other offences, they know that they're being watched.
What else do we want to fix up around here?
Cronus Park Cafe has been closed for a while, and I even wrote an article about it and spoke to a councillor in regards to it. And while a group has formed called Friends of Cronus Park Cafe, nothing's been done about it. I think the pond hasn't been looking good for a while as well. The mansion that's right next to Cronus Park Cafe, that's been mothballed.
Would you say those places are places that when we were kids would have attracted us here?
Of course, and they did. When you used to come here with your primary school, which we did, especially to after the end of the SATs, we went to the Cronus Park Cafe, we got ice cream, and we played in that football field over there while some people played in this playground. And while the playground, like I said, has got the investment that it needs, all other places are being shut down. There's signs that haven't been cleaned up. There's apparently toilets here, which I didn't even know there were toilets here because everything's closed. There are no toilets. The only thing that's really been well looked after these past 2 years is this gym over here, but even that needs a bit of a clean up.
Me and you were talking earlier about this monument here.
Yep, and I said I was going to have a look at it as soon as the video started rolling, so let's have a look at it. Firstly, you can see that it's been poorly maintained, and I'm guessing by the looks of it, if you want to jump in, this is meant to be some sort of bird bath, but there's no water in, so that's another thing that's not been well looked after. But that kind of shows the whole premise of what's actually going on around here. Nothing is being looked after at all.
Obviously, with the whole cafe and everything, the mansion.
Yeah.
When it was well looked after, that was one of the main things people came here for.
Of course. And this place holds a lot of history.
Now that our locality's lost that, people don't come out as often anymore.
No, I think people do come out and people do come and explore this place, but it's like, if you compare it to, let's say, for example, in Huddersfield, Beaumont Park, which I will take you to later, it's not looked after as well as it could be. And that's why people people think to themselves, we're voting in councillors and we're voting in officials, but the places that we want, the public facilities, they're not being well looked after. Now, that playground over there, that's going to get 250k. That band's been fixed, that bandstand. But aside from that, nothing else has happened here. The pond is still a tip. When I come and show you, you'll see. That mansion, if you look at it, that should have been cleaned up time ago. There was rumours that a business was going to take over, and they didn't take over. But regardless, Kirklees Council should be doing more for it. And if Kirklees Council actually starts securing funding for these areas, things would change. And the sociology backs that too. Is there anything I've said that you thought, or anything where you think I've
When you said
kind
that,
of blubbered on?
no, the bit where you said that people do still come here, you're right. But my point was, I mean, that remember when we were kids, this place used to be packed.
Of course.
Like you couldn't even find a place to get on a swing or something like that.
And you know, on the right days, it is still packed. But again, that's because people have nowhere else to go. Not because they like this place. It's
That's true.
nostalgic.
Every other place hasn't got funding as well.
No,
This is just the
no,
best of the worst in a way.
and however you might feel about him, when George Galloway came here in 2021, well, not here in Batley, he was talking about how Huddersfield was receiving funding, and these towns were being overlooked. And I'm not a fan of the guy, but he was right. He was right, and we see that. And when you check the documents and you check all the public records, you can see that Huddersfield is receiving, on average, way more funding than these towns.
This area,
Yeah, Cronus Park Adventure Playground.
This used to be a really fun place for me and my sister to go to.
I think it's still open. It's still open from time to time. There are people that go there. We're about to go into the Wildflower Garden. It's one of the, like, sort of, this is one of the gardens.
What a big God.
But it looks really nice. Well, the last time I went to it looked nice. I don't know how it's going to look now. But this park has a lot to offer, and that's what I want to show. That there's a lot of potential with this park. It's just it's severely underfunded. Oh, smell of weed is in the air.
As usual.
But yeah, look. So this is a well-kept park. Well, a well-kept garden, good section of the park. But I wish the rest of the park was as well looked after as this one.
It is actually quite nice in here.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was a little kid, me and my family used to come here. Like, on a nice sunny day.
You're not that grown up, little bro.
No, but it's been a while since we've been kids, man. I'm talking like primary school times. We used to come down here, walk through this bit. And as a kid, it is really nice. You enjoy that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even now,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me and you, we always go on walks.
Of course.
We have a couple of these in here.
Yeah, we've got one right down there as well, just at the top of the park. But I fear if I take you there, we're going to run out of time. But right at the top of the park, I don't know if you can see it from here. You can't. You can see the house, but just next to that house, right at the top, there is another war memorial, the bigger one, and that's where everybody lays the wreaths on Remembrance Day.
Yeah. These bits here are nicely looked after.
They are.
The flowers.
They are, and that's what the shame is. There are sections of this park that are well kept, whether that's by Kirklees Council or by the locals around here, or groups. But we need to see more of that, and we need to see something drastic very soon, because people are losing their trust in officials very, very rapidly around here. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Omar.
Yep.
What do we have here?
Cronus Park Cafe, Dewsbury's finest. But it's been shut down for years now. And there have been plans to reopen it, but then plans always go down the hill. There was even talks of a business running it, and them talks broke down too. But it was a facility that people enjoyed here, that I enjoyed here. I'm sure you enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And right next to it, the mansion. This used to be a museum, and now it's just a mothballed building with a lot of plants surrounding it.
It looks like a fossil itself.
Yeah. And there's so much that could be done with it. So much. I'm going to keep walking past it, eh?
Omar.
Yeah.
We're heading down to a part of the park now.
Yeah.
That me and you constantly talk about every time we come down here.
Of course. Because the state of it. And before we even go there, I just want you to show everybody from here what it looks like. Just so you know, they can understand why it is, why we talk about it so much. And there's animals living here, there's ducks here. I mean, there's rats living in here too. That's how you know it's not been well looked after. And I mean, just look, the water's shallow. The water shallow, the filter systems or the sewage systems, they got all clogged up.
Litter everywhere.
Yeah. It's just disgusting. And the worst part of it is there's ducks living here and they've been living here for years. I want to show you what it looks like on the other. Well, firstly, when you just go past here and you show everybody what it looks like over here, this little stream here, and then down there, where all the algae and everything is. And this is meant to be one of the park's biggest attractions, this pond, the ornamental pond, they call it.
As kids, some of your most fondest memories are always coming around here.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say dropping bread. Folks,
No,
don't drop bread.
none of that.
But I feel like this pond is kind of the perfect metaphor to how seriously overlooked and underfunded Dewsbury and Batley is as a constituency, and the Kirklees area is. Well, no, these towns are within Kirklees Council. Here's the worst part of the pond. I put my finger in it just to show you how bad it is. But
Don't do that. You're definitely going to get some kind of disease from this.
never mind that. We're gonna go to Huddersfield in a second. So yeah, probably not the best idea. I don't know what it smells like.
That is one thing we should talk about though. The smell is there.
Yes. You're not gonna ask me where we're going up to now.
Where are we going, Amar?
We're going into the Amamobile. I'm going to take you to Beaumont Park in Huddersfield. That's meant to be basically the sister park to Cronest Park. What Cronest Park should be for us, flipping branch, what Cronest Park is meant to be for us is what Beaumont Park is for Huddersfield. And I just want you to see the stark contrast between Cronest Park and Beaumont Park. Shall we get in, cameraman?
Yes, sir.
Rightio. Any more questions before we go to Beaumont Park?
You say Beaumont Park is what Cronest Park is supposed to be to us.
Mm-hmm.
You've been there without me before.
Yes.
What are your impressions?
It's beautiful. It's well kept. The same sort of groups that are meant to be supporting Cronest Park, for example, the Friends of Cronest Park, Huddersfield have their version, the Friends of Beaumont Park, and they seem to be advocating for it well. I feel like the park itself can speak to you better than I could. Once you see how well looked after this park is, how well looked after the facilities are, how beautiful it is, I think you'll be able to understand what we should have.
Right, let's head over.
And let's do that. You know, like if it was just there for show, that's a different matter altogether, but there's ducks living there, and they've been living there forever. They always come and go.
Oh, the ultimate driver south.
So, do you want to tell everybody what happened to your car?
Amar,
Yes.
where are we now?
We are at Beaumont Park, what's meant to be the sister park to Cronest Park. And I mean, already, from just walking in through the entrance, can you see the difference?
Beautiful.
Let's look at the playground first. Does that look like a well-funded playground, Saul?
Yes.
Now, Beaumont Park also has their own version of Friends of Cronest Park. Beaumont Park has Friends of Beaumont Park, and by the looks of it, they've been maintaining things well. The public reviews, the public around here, they're more than satisfied with this park. It has functional toilets.
Unlike Cronest.
And yeah, I've needed the toilet for a while, but I guess I ain't going till after this video now. And yeah, you can just tell already by walking in. We've only walked in like a minute ago. This is already a massive difference to Cronest Park. Look at their bandstand in comparison to ours. A lot of open spaces. A lot more people here. Even though the weather's the same, there's a lot more people here than Cronest Park.
Much better than Cronus.
Uh-huh. Why do you say though?
First of all, because it looks more appealing.
How?
It's just better maintained. Like all the flowers, the area around. I wouldn't expect any rats to fly out at me.
I mean, rats don't fly, bro.
In Cronus Park, they do. They've been mutated by the green pond of doom.
Keep a crappy joke to yourself. Bloody hell.
You really love that joke.
It was funny the first time. It's getting boring now.
Alright, sorry, boss. The signs here look better.
But that's something. But I don't think there's anything here that I need to give much attention to. I think, like I said to you, the spot, the
It
spot.
speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself, yeah. Now this, look at this ecosystem. This is what a pond should look like. Green, full of life. Actually looks like something, this looks like somewhere animals should be living.
It reminds me of the pond we used to have at school.
Look, even pigeons, bro.
Life.
Looks like heaven compared to Cronus Park. Got a massive monument over there. Adnan has a very special name for it, but I'm not going to disrespect the
We're not gonna talk
artistry
about
behind
that.
it. You have to understand, they used the tree that was here to make
So
it.
it's made out of a tree that was already
Yes,
here.
look, can you not see?
I couldn't see from back there.
Yeah,
No.
it is. But yes, from a mile out, it looks like a big. I'm not
looks
going to say it.
it
Like I
looks
said, there's kids
profanity.
watching. And then in a couple of seconds, this is the view I was telling you about. The view that you see here. It's like different. I said, I just want to emphasize, we're still in Kirklees Council. This is part of the Kirklees district. So there's no reason why Dewsbury, Batley, Heckmondwike shouldn't be receiving the same sort of, you should have the same amount of enjoyment going to parks there as you do here. And that's why I'm going to start highlighting issues. I know there's a bit more I could have shown, but cameraman's running out of time. So
Cameraman is running out of time. It's
So
getting late. I'm tired.
I think I've shown more than enough. But yeah, cameraman, any questions?
You've been to both these places.
Yeah.
And you have younger siblings.
Yes.
If Cronus Park was more like this, do you think your younger siblings would have as much enjoyment as we had in our childhood?
Of course they would. Of course they would, without a shadow of a doubt.
Why?
Because you can see the people that are coming around here. They're no different to us. You can see, and like I said, we'd seen it as kids. We'd seen Cronus Park be this like blooming aspect of Dewsbury Moor and Dewsbury West as a ward.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm hoping this is the start of a new series. I will start highlighting all the issues that we have around this area. But I need your help. I need you to help me help you. So, any issues, any things that you need spotlighting, anything that you want me to look into, drop me a message. Hopefully soon I should be opening up an online form where you can send me requests and messages anonymously or not anonymously. And I will investigate, I will look into things and begin to scrutinize the council and our elected officials way more than I have been. If any of you want to make videos to highlight certain bits, feel free to use Pulsivate Local in your hashtags. And yeah, I want this to be something big. I want to put an emphasis on it. And I don't mean to demean elected officials when I make content like this. I'm willing to work alongside pressure groups, community activists, and elected officials to help our areas secure more funding and to help our areas flourish like they should have been and like they should be. Yeah, I think that's all. Is there anything else I need to add?
I think we've got it.
No? Well, this has been Pulsivate. I've been a mouse saying as always. Peace.